Hey everyone, Mike here today with some thoughts here on Borderlands 3, as well as a bit of a review since I just completed the game. We'll probably stick to a little bit of side mission here with a late game character. However, I might hop into another character that's only half an hour in if we have time. We'll see once we get there. So I'll say overall, I've played this game from start to end in co-op. I took about 25 hours to beat it, and I've spent about half an hour or so roughly playing as a secondary character just to kind of get a bit of an experience, I suppose, with the game. So let's see here. I'm just gonna see what we can do. It's a decent level mission, and is it in this area of the map? It is. Excellent. So let's go do that. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about a lot of negative stuff in this video today. I think the game is still generally decent. It's still fun to play. It's just, the biggest thing to me is for how long it's been since Borderlands 2 and seeing kind of the DLC and the trajectory Borderlands 2 took. It's a little disappointing to see Borderlands 3 not really evolve much past that formula. If anything, it didn't really evolve at all, which, you know, it is what it is. Again, like I said, it's still a fun game. It just feels like it's a little old school in a sense, and it could have done a lot more, and I kind of expected a lot more as well when they announced it. So yeah, with that out of the way, I will say the co-op experience is decent, but not great. This game, for whatever reason, seems to be pretty heavy networking-wise, and it seems to be laggy in a way that just doesn't make too much sense. I say that because both me and my buddy who played together, you know, I'll put it this way. My buddy who's hosting, he's got adequate bandwidth to do that. My internet's not the greatest, but at the same time, I don't have problems with many games. In fact, this is one of the rare games where I do have problems, and it is noticeable that this game takes a lot of bandwidth for whatever reason. And it's a bit annoying too, because I look online and, you know, other people have complained about similar issues. And so, yeah, it doesn't make for a great experience. The server side, the host side, is kind of authoritative in this case as well. Again, I bring that up because just the way sometimes I would get desynced, and yeah, because the host is super authoritative on the game, it leads to weird instances where I get teleported back because it didn't detect me going around a corner when I in fact did in my game, and that leads to some frustrations as well. At the end of the day, though, it's still playable. It's just, yeah, expect to see some weirdness like that occasionally, which can be rather frustrating. So what is this game, and what is it not? Well, it's Borderlands. So if you've played previous Borderlands games, they've done very little to really advance the formula. It is exactly what you expect, which is more Borderlands in a slightly nicer looking package, and that's about it, really. All the same humor and memes and stuff, if you like that in the previous games, there's more of that in this one. If that's not your thing, well, this is the same as the previous games. So for those of you who've never played a Borderlands game, well, it's weird internet humor stuff. And so if you're not into all the memes and stuff, then yeah, you may not find this to be super funny. You might find it kind of cringy. You know, your mileage may vary. again, if you've heard of other reviews of this game, people often talk about, yeah, it's a decent game to play when you mute all of the voice stuff, because, yeah, it doesn't, it's not something that everyone likes. It's very divisive in that sense, right? Some people may love it, whereas others absolutely hate it. For myself personally, I'm kind of mixed. Because sometimes, yeah, sometimes there's some stuff that comes out that's good, and other times it's just like, yep, yeah, this was a mistake not muting it, but, you know, we'll live with it. Again, if you're playing co-op with someone else, I feel like it's not as bad if you're playing it on your own. If I was playing this on my own, I would probably mute a lot of that stuff and just kind of play the game and listen to other stuff in the background as opposed to this. But yeah, you know, graphically it looks fine. It looks a little bit better than the old games, but it's not like a crazy high fidelity game like you can kind of see it here, actually. You know, repeating texture patterns, which, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. At least the different world maps, areas, whatever you want to call them, there's some variety in the details there. So you're not dealing with multiple planets of the same detail, right? There are different biomes in that sense. That's fine. The variety is nice. Same with the enemies. There's a little bit of variety. Some of them are enemies returning from previous games. Again, fundamentally, you're dealing with a lot of similar stuff. And along that line, there's a lot of enemies, or a lot of the good characters, if you will. There are a lot of returning characters from the previous games. So, in fact, this is kind of like story-wise, it's a bit of a reunion, if you will. Pretty much everyone from Borderlands 1 and 2 comes back in this game, in one way or another. So that was kind of neat, I suppose. But yeah, gameplay-wise, I'm kind of seeing it right now. You know, very typical go-to area, perform mission thing, fight off a couple waves of enemies. Eventually they stop spawning, and then you're good to go. I did see there are like third-tier objectives that you can do, so like this legendary hunt will be one of those. So we'll give it a go. It'll be a stronger special enemy. And I'll use my special ability potentially. Let's see if I need to. No, I won't need to. I'll put it this way, I'm not that powerful. Even though I beat the game, this is the final area that you're going to play in, kind of leading up to the end game. And yeah, I'm just level 44. I'm not like that strong. And in fact, my weapon here is a level 33 weapon, so it's actually a much lower level. In fact, if you look at all my main weapons, the other gun that I was using were both level 24 guns. They're much lower level. They do a decent amount of damage. And I think that's kind of where my biggest complaint is with this game, which is the kind of the variety, or lack thereof, to a certain extent, of how the weapons stuff works. So Borderlands has always been all about the weapons, you know, bajillions of guns, or whatever they keep saying. And it's true, there is a lot of stuff. This game still has a lot of weapons. However, in some ways, it's a bit of a step backwards, because you've gone from having... I suppose it depends how you look at it. Technically, with the DLC, Borderlands 2 had 9 different grades. So you had... Let's see if we have some in here. So you had your basic, you know... Oh, come on, UI. Please work. UI bugs, gotta love them. We'll talk about them in a little bit. But yeah, you have your common weapons, and then you move up to your, your green, uncommon, your rare. So I have a purple. I don't have a purple. So I forget what the other one is. There's rare, and then these are legendary. I don't know if they're like ultra rare, super rare, whatever. So there's a purple tier. But yeah, you basically have your 5 tiers of weapons in this game. Which is fine. The problem is the orange legendary stuff, they hand it out quite often in Borderlands 3. Especially compared to... especially compared to previous games. The legendaries used to be much more rare, much more impactful. Like, it's kind of rare to get a legendary that wasn't great. Whereas in here, I find I'm getting a lot of legendary weapons that are kind of crummy. And so you wind up with finding a lot more of them, but yeah, you don't tend to actually use them because they're not great. I'm supposed to get up here. I'm supposed to drop the map design. I'm supposed to drop from above. That's definitely been a problem in this game, the whole map design. It happened far too often where we're going somewhere and it's one of those things I gotta bring up the map and then figure out which path to take, because when you look at it from this angle, fucking UI bugs again. When you look at it from this angle, it seems like, oh, you can climb up from, there's an entrance here, and you can kind of climb up. Then you spin it around some more, and then you realize, oh, I have to actually drop from the top, which means I've got to go around the corner over there. The map itself, because it's not fixed in place as well, so when you're playing co-op, for instance, you and your teammate can both open the map, but it's based on the direction you're facing. So if you don't remember to both face the same direction, you can't just say, oh, go left, because you can't put a marker on the map that your teammate can see. So yeah, you almost need to have one person drive and the other one navigate for them. I guess we're gonna wait here for a little bit. This may or may not kill me, I don't know.
Now proceed underground and find the source of those quakes.
But anyways, yeah, UI bugs, I don't know, you've seen some of them. I'll show you another one here. If I accidentally mouse over that area, this icon, right, you can see it charges because I'm going to fast travel there. So that happens pretty often where it does that. But occasionally it doesn't do it, which is really weird. Oh, see, it's not doing it anymore. It's not selecting it. I get that this is made for controllers, and so the interface is designed for that. But at the same time, I don't know. You can also select an area and not have it do anything, which also sucks. So we've found ourselves, having to open the map. We select it. We're trying to fast travel, either click or hold E. It doesn't want to do it, so we close the map, reopen it, then it works the second time. Like, there's a lot of small UI weirdness going on. You saw it a bit earlier too when, I'm mousing over these weapons and like they show up here. They kind of show up there. I don't know why they're not showing up. Oh, now they work. But if I scroll down too much, oh, now they're working again. I don't know. Very bizarre issues. But again, there's a lot of other usability things like that. You might have seen earlier I got mail from Torg or something. Oh yeah, what's this rarity again? Epic, that's what it is. Hey, there's your other rarity. But yeah, sometimes you completed challenges and it would be like, oh, hey, open your, check your mail for whatever challenge. And unless you go online to look at it, you won't know that it's not actually in this menu at all. it's you got to hit escape and go down the social menu, which is a whole different set of options. So little usability things like that. They're not a deal breaker, game breaker, but just bad UI design. Not organizing stuff in a way that's logical. You put everything in one menu and then turns out, actually there's a second menu where we hide other bits of stuff. I don't know. Let's freeze these guys, because freezing is really good. Yeah, we talked about the humor, talked about gameplay. It's fine. It's very playable, very accessible. I found the difficulty to be really easy on the normal difficulty. We could have increased it, but at the same time, I don't think there was much benefit to increasing difficulty. Where difficulty does matter is after you've completed the game, you can activate Mayhem Mode, and Mayhem Mode will increase difficulty with different things. So if I turn it on, right, we'll have to reload the zone. But you can kind of see some of the modifiers based on difficulty. And these can get re-rolled as well. So you can get all sorts of other stuff. You can see the percentage boosts and all that. So this just makes stuff generally more difficult to kill. We'll turn it off. But again, you gotta complete the game to do that. Oh yeah, what's the Guardian token? Guardian ranks, if you're into that. That was something... These were persistent stats in Borderlands 2. In Borderlands 3, this is something that you only get access to once you've completed the game. In Borderlands 2, you're completing like challenges and stuff. In Borderlands 3, it's just a straight XP. Yeah, it's just like a straight XP grind. If you look at the bottom, you can see I've got 3 different XP gauges now. The pink one is the Guardian stuff. So, I don't know, neat idea, but again, unless you intend on doing a second playthrough, that stuff is locked away. Like the Mayhem Mode as well is locked away behind completing the main campaign, and so I get potentially not wanting to offer it to overwhelm players at the start. But at the same time, they could probably offer it if you hit like, I don't know, level 20 or something. You've played enough of the game to at least gain a understanding. And so to not just offer it early on and allow players the fun to do it early game is kind of a not great decision in my opinion. We could we can translate those things now. Again, not that we've completed the game, we can finally translate those things. Yeah, I don't know. I think the biggest problem that I have is, these weapons are, some of these are old. Like the freezing laser thing that I'm using is a level 24 weapon. It's half the level than that, or almost half the level. And like, it's still the best, one of the better weapons that I have right now. Like I'm getting I've got an insane amount of legendary weapons at this point. Arguably, I might have gone more. Oof, I don't know. No, I probably get more epic weapons than legendary. But yeah, I wish they would have done something more with the weapons. Like, people talk about, hey, I seem to remember they were showing off, like, hey, here's all the components. You can inspect your weapon, and you get to see all the components and what they do. It would have been cool if they took advantage of that and made an actual, like, crafting elements with all of that. That would have been kind of cool, but they didn't do anything
That is what caused the
with it.
quakes. Clearly, this is Sparrow's crippling incompetence at work.
What?
I will deal with him later.
Huh.
You still have those explosives, yes, Vault Hunter?
Okay. Blow this thing up. Yeah, that's Borderlands 3, I suppose, in a nutshell. I don't really have too much else to add beyond, you know, the base game at the very least.
You're missing the...
I think it's worth talking a little bit about the
Should do it, Vault Hunter. Return to
the
me
DLC side of things.
But to set expectations, it is not
Oh, I missed my chance to jump up there. I could probably just do this, right? Yeah. Phew. Gotta look at the chest and see all the garbage we get. Yeah, so like this it's a level 41. It's much closer to my level, and yet it's half the base damage, and then again half of that because I have 2 bullets, technically 4 bullets because of the red text, or four extra bullets because of the red text. Get some more ammo. Whatever. Let's just do it this way. Oh. Just fast travel and turn it in. So yeah, I think the final thing, we'll turn this mission in. I'll switch back to the other character and just show off a little bit of the early game stuff. And then we'll talk about DLC and kind of overall thoughts. Cool. I could pick up another mission, but that's my whatever. I don't care. I'll quit back to main menu. We'll swap characters around, and nope. Oh, no. How do I switch characters? Oh yeah, I should mention that. There's a competition cooperation mode. So that's really cool, having cooperation being unique loot to each player. That's actually really smart. I'd be a little annoyed if it wasn't for that. You could do matchmaking. This is the mail system I was talking about, where you get a bunch of stuff. You can do land stuff. There's Twitch things if you want to do that. How the hell do I... Low character.
A robotic beastmaster, home planet unknown.
Alright. We'll play as our robot dude there. We'll do a little bit of the story mission. This is still super early in the game. I
Let me catch you up.
definitely did not do the first boss.
Led to vaults all over the Borderlands. Dream come true, right? I didn't realize how big of a target
Right,
it was.
so...
We got attacked and the map was lost. I've been looking for it ever
Or did I? Oh no, I did do the first boss. That's right. I finished the first boss and the game bugged out. And Lilith was not moving forward, so I literally could not... I literally could not progress. So reloading here should fix it.
The children of the vault.
Yeah, a little detail thing that's kind of neat is this dude's tall, and I am towering over her, which is strange because the other character I'm playing as, she was much shorter, and so I'm the same height as the shorter characters. Yeah, neat little touch. Not really something huge, I would say. We're gonna... Oh, we're not going up there? Okay, I thought we were going up there.
I'll stand guard.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of funny how you can tower over people in this game when you're a taller character. Grab some early game stuff. And we gotta wait. Just seeing if there's any chests and stuff we can loot in the meantime. So one of the things I think I want to talk about is the DLC, because I got this from Humble Monthly, so I paid whatever. I think Humble Monthly's 15 US. I don't remember. I'm on the old plan, so my pricing is a little bit different. Or unless it's 10 US, 15 Canadian. Either way. So I got it through Humble Monthly not too long ago, and yeah, you get the game for like 15 Canadian on Steam sales. So the monthly bundle winds up being the same price. However, they also offered a $20 US, of course, DLC bundle, which is pretty much everything else that they've released for this game. Now, Borderlands 2, the DLC was generally really good. You know, most of the DLC for Borderlands 2 had quite a bit of content. I think most of it was generally pretty fun. It added quite a bit to the game in that sense. And for Borderlands 3, I was looking it up, and DLC doesn't seem to be particularly well received in Borderlands 3. Looking at the numbers, and so I didn't really have any interest in picking up the bundle at that price. Yeah, it's cheap. Yeah, it's 70% off or whatever. But at the same time, it didn't seem particularly great. So I decided to take a look at it and to kind of try and figure out how the DLCs were actually received, because right, we don't have vehicles here. Could pick up side mission too while we're at it. So what I did, the one on Steam, I just took a look at what the DLCs were and what their ratings were to get an idea. And yeah, Borderlands 2, it's kind of tough to compare some of the DLCs in Borderlands 2, because what happened is, if you get the DLC packs these days, they're like super low rated. You know, people don't like the way the pricing structure works, because you can buy the bundles on Steam much cheaper than buying the game and the DLC, and so you're like literally spending more money for less content by not buying like the full collection bundle, or some of the, like the Handsome Jack collection, which is one SKU, or some of the Steam, some of the other Steam bundles, which is like the complete collection, or whatever the heck they call it. So yeah, I can't compare those percentages because of that, but I can compare individual ones. So yeah, when you look at like Borderlands 3, for instance, right? If you look at the season passes, it's like the first season pass is like 66% positive, and the second season pass is 25%. Now the 25% makes sense. The second season pass is like a lot of just cut content, but not much of it, and so people who had spent extra to get like the special launch versions that came with the season pass were like, well, what the hell? Why'd you go ahead and release a second season pass? You know, you said this version of the game came with everything, and clearly it didn't. And so there's a lot of people upset on that end. There's also the other problem of the second season stuff just being, yeah, not actual DLC, but just like smaller cut content mission things that are just barely worthwhile. I'm gonna go down, and that's okay. I'm just gonna do that. I now have a better gun. Oh yeah, I have a shotgun. Hey, I haven't played this character in a long time. That hurt a lot. Oh, that's gonna kill me. Ah, killed by my own robot.
Yes,
Or my
to the bloodletting.
dog, monkey thing. I don't know. I forget what they're called. Anywho, I'm rambling on a lot. So, the actual DLCs was interesting, because I seem to remember Borderlands 2 being generally positive, and looking up all the numbers, the interesting conclusion is that if we look at the 4 DLC packs they put out for Borderlands 3, you know, the first one's pretty positive. It's 90% positive, which is great. And then the next 3 are 66, 48, and 46%, which is generally not good. And a lot of it is just, yeah, nothing specific, just not good outright, or, you know, not good value, or what have you. When I looked at Borderlands 2, you're looking at 90%, 85, 45, and then 93. So clearly Borderlands 2 had way better DLC. It still had a stinker in there at 45%. That was the Hammerlock set of missions, which I can see. They're maybe not the most interesting thing. Hammerlock is probably not very interesting to the target audience of these games anyways. At least not back then. So, yeah. Understandably not highly rated. I don't remember the DLC being amazing either. So, yeah, you've got that. I mentioned like the second season for Borderlands 3 being pretty negative, and it's like 30 and 31% for the cut content that they added in. So, clearly not highly rated. And why can't it just switch over? What do I have to do in that order? And what was the other one? Oh yes, we gotta level up our skills. So there's different skill trees in this game. Went for this one first. Health regen, attack command, hunter skill. That sounds like the best thing.
I would get you down if you were in trouble.
Alright, we gotta rescue this idiot. So I'll let this play out before I continue. Just because here's some of the story, guys, stuff.
Yo, little help.
Yep.
Shoot me down, will ya? I like.
I believe there's a chest up here. I'll go get that while he rambles on about his thing. Who cares? Nobody cares.
Feet work good.
Oh, well, these are too high level.
Hey, thanks.
We'll hold on to them for a bit.
I might be dead. So, what are you doing here?
I am on an unending hunt for the glory of... Oh, as in right now, I am working with Lilith and the Crimson Raiders.
You're with the
Cool.
Firehawk? Oh man, I used to run with Lilith back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know. Looking at some of the other stuff in that second season
I mean, at least
of Borderlands 3, there's a bunch of cosmetic packs, which I found to be interesting because they're like 28, 24, 40, 24%, and then there's a second batch that's like 46, 46, 60, and 42. So only one of them is about 50%. For Borderlands 2, they were kind of, some of them were kind of low. I didn't actually get all of them because there's so many for Borderlands 2, but they generally seemed higher rated. They're at minimum mixed and not negative, with some of them being positive. But yeah, beyond that, the games themselves as well. You look at the ratings between the two games. You know, Borderlands 3 is 84% positive. Borderlands 2 is 95% positive. If you want like small DLC pack things, like there's the Headhunter packs that Borderlands 2 did.
They fought like animals.
And those were like
Sick.
bigger boss battles that they added in. Those were kind of cool. And again, 78, 68, 85, 84, and 86%. So generally pretty positive.
Bloody skull should be.
It is completely ruining the vibe. Oh,
There's a
I'm sorry.
necromancer character that was 88% positive as well. That was added to Borderlands 2. Oh, come on now. I remember doing this. And yeah, if you run too far ahead, the characters don't keep going, which can kind of suck, and some of this stuff can be a little tedious. Thankfully, you don't have to deal with it too much. It's mostly early game that's a little bit like this.
Those calypsos won't stop until every bandit on Pandora worships
But,
their gods. Hey, the bandits don't need gods. We worship a hot fire and a charred piece of meat.
That's funny,
There
I
are
can't-
rules.
I can't deal with those things in this game.
I'm sure Lilith
I
would
think
be
that's an
glad to see
upgrade you get later on.
tight, bro.
Anyways.
Super tight. Like, bro, tight.
Yeah, over half an hour, so I think that's long enough. Conclusion to all of this, Borderlands 3 is okay at best. I just wish they did something a little bit more, considering that, you know, it's fundamentally not too different than Borderlands 2. It is a bit better looking, plays a little bit better to a certain extent, but they didn't really go very far, which is unfortunate. You know, Borderlands came out in 2009, Borderlands 2 came out in 2012, so you know, like three years later, and then you have Borderlands 3 in 2019, which is 7 years later. So you know, you spent twice as long working on this game, and I know they've released other stuff kind of in the meantime, but still, for the amount of time they spent on this game,
The Raiders will take all the help we can get.
or for the amount of time between 2 and 3, I would have thought they would have done a bit more, but it doesn't seem like it.
Extra gruesome. You could also try getting a human spine from
Cool.
one of those filthy
Well, we'll end it here.
That
Like I said, if you're looking for a fun little random co-op game to play with buddies and you like the older Borderlands games, you'll probably find this to be acceptably okay. It's not great. It's not awful. It's just kind of good, I suppose. Keep your expectations a little low. You'll probably find it to be a lot better that way. But, yeah. I don't know. I'll put it this way. I'm not going to do multiple playthroughs like I did with Borderlands 2. Because at least back then, that game felt more unique, more interesting, more fun. And in an age where, you know, we've had other experiences since then, this one doesn't move the needle forward at all. And so, while competent, it's more of the same. And in those 7 years, we've had much more of this kind of game. And I think that's ultimately where I wind up. Where, yeah, it's good, but not great. And I kind of wish they did it a little bit more. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys next week with something else.